Welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of Intentionality. Where we speak about, or rather talk about work life. And in this episode today, we athletes put in a lot of efforts. We train very hard and look for the race day. And when it's race day, we are excited. We go and do participate. But once we come back, we always kind of look back and understand what will happen, and how well did we do, what are the things, and kind of learning basically. We can always refer to various mediums to learn from other athletes, but it's always good to actually hear from first hand from athlete who has done that. So today we have Satisha KV with us, who has run a couple of marathons, and recently he just completed Delhi Marathon. So let's hear from him, his learnings or takeaways from Delhi Marathon, and what is that we athletes can learn from it. So welcome Satisha, welcome to this episode of Intentionality.
Thank you.
Cool. So you have been running marathon for quite some time.
Yeah, just 2 years.
Just 2 years, but you have done, you have completed a lot of, couple of marathons.
This was my 5th marathon.
That's actually good. In 2 years, 5 marathons.
Yeah.
So the recently one was the Delhi Marathon.
Yeah.
So what's so special about it? Do you see anything that you want to share?
I feel that was my strongest, not in terms of the result, but in terms of the effort. I believe we win the medal during training, but we only celebrate at the race, and we collect medals at the race. I feel this training block was very intense, and I felt good about it. It was strong, and race effort also, it was the strongest effort. The results were not as I expected, but a lot of learning from it. I ended up on stretcher once I crossed the finish line. They had put me there for a couple of hours, but I did still finish the marathon. Around 38 kilometers, I think I lost all the energy that I had. I was not able to even put my body straight. I was kind of wobbling, but I did not want to give up. I kept pulling my body and then putting it in the straight line. And I think just 20 meters away from the finish line, I lost everything. My body was not moving. Just I was present. Maybe I was semi-unconscious. And I was not moving at all. I was frozen. Then I just waved my hands at someone who was there. And Amit is one of the runners there. So he was there, and he actually helped me cross the finish line. Of course, I finished my marathon in 3 hours 14 minutes, which is 3 minutes less than my PR, but this was the strongest run because it was not my legs that I ran that ran the race. It was my mind which ran the race, because I don't think I was ready for the race yet.
So that's actually nice. After what happened during the race, right? You were unconscious and all those things, but still you were able to do in 3.10 seconds.
No, 3 hours 14 minutes.
3 hours 14 seconds. So some minutes, sorry. So that's pretty good. Now you also mentioned that in the starting that we put in a lot of efforts, right, before the race, and also you mentioned that the race is we put in a lot of efforts before the race, and we go to the race just to celebrate. That also brings another question. Say, how much effort did you put in before the race?
It was 16 weeks of training, around 1400 kilometers of run. In fact, in the peak week I had put 120 kilometers, and the last month of the training I had put around 480 kilometers, almost close to 500 kilometers. But I feel it was like a stretch this time, because I was kind of injured. I was, after the last marathon, I was kind of sidelined for almost 3 months. I slowly picked it up, but I think ramp up was too fast. So from 150 kilometers to I went to 280 kilometers in a month, then from 280 to 380 kilometers in a month, and then 480 kilometers in a month.
It's month or week?
Month. So it was I think, although in terms of weekly mileage I was only increasing 10%, but if I look at month wise, it was quite a steep increase. So it's quite possible that volume, but I was feeling good during the training. I was feeling good. I was able to put the effort. I was enjoying it, but maybe I was, human body is very complex, so we may not be able to sense everything that is happening in the body. So maybe that would have caused some kind of injury, because before the marathon itself, my legs were not moving so well. On the day of marathon, when I was walking to the marathon venue, there was the footbridge. When I was walking up the footbridge itself, I was not able to climb. So I kind of felt, oh, this is not going to be the one. I still pushed myself. I think a couple of weeks before the marathon, my legs were not moving so well. They were so stiff. I think I developed some kind of a shin issue. It could be because of load itself. So the last few weeks, 2 weeks, the runs were not that great. In fact, I had stopped running for about 4 days continuously before the marathon week. But still I thought, I could use the experience that I gained during the training to push. So legs were not ready, mind was ready. So I still wonder, how did I push through it? Because I was going at a very good pace.
So let's talk about this thing, right? I mean, you just mentioned that your body was not ready. I mean, you had small kind of an issue or injury that you were carrying towards, but still you pushed. So how important is it for your mind, compared to the physical? Yeah, we need all those physical strength and we put in a lot of efforts physically, but how important it is for an athlete for the mental strength?
I have read that human body is capable of doing many things as long as your mind is up to it. So when we are training, whether it is for a powerlifting competition or for a running race or for a wrestling match, I think first we have to train the mind, because your body just follows the mind. So it's important that we train it first. So what that means is, during the training also, there will be difficult runs and not everything goes very smooth. So are you able to push yourself during those difficult runs? So when you are running well, or when you are lifting well, whatever sport that you are into, so your body is getting trained. When things are not going well, then you are training your mind by pushing through it. So in fact, most of the runs went very well during the training. That's another thing, it was like spotless. And maybe there was one time when I felt, why am I running? That was, I was able to figure out. It was lack of sleep, no recovery. I was able to fix that. But it was kind of spotless. The training was spotless. But I had experience of this from the previous runs. Even the Mumbai Marathon, which was my third marathon, just 2 days before the marathon, I developed an issue with IT band. In fact, when I was collecting the bib, I was hardly able to walk. I was limping. And I thought, oh my God, will I be able to finish marathon? Then the next day, the race day, I woke up and I told myself, don't give any kind of excuses, just run. And I was able to get PR. I ran well. Of course, although I bonked towards that, but in terms of results, I achieved PR. I was able to run. So that experience was there. I knew that, even if your body is not really coping well, you'll still be able to do as long as you believe. So that experience helped. So how we show up during trainings, how we show up during hard workouts, that matters a lot in the competition, like the race day.
So maybe let's go back to the Delhi Marathon, right? If you can very briefly explain about what happened in Delhi Marathon. Yes, you were limping and you said you couldn't complete comfortably, but if you can just get into the details of what happened, maybe it will be a kind of learning for fellow athletes.
So I think I developed shin splints, maybe because of the load. On the right hand side, it's called as medial tibial stress syndrome. So it kind of pains on one side of the, just a muscle behind the shin bone. So it pains, and when you put effort, it pains. But I did not realize that. And I was running, and when I'm running, your body is really hot and it does not really feel the pain. So I was running, runs were fine. I was able to run faster, but slow runs, easy runs were becoming difficult just 2 weeks before the marathon. But still I was feeling, I'm ready, and I maybe rest for a few days, I should be fine. So I went to Delhi. I thought, okay, let me try it out. It's a learning. Then I guess food was an issue. So I woke up in the morning, I ate oats, and also I stayed in a hotel where I feel they served frozen food. I did not want to go out. I thought, it's India. Whatever food I eat at home, that is what I eat outside as well, so I shouldn't really worry about food. So I ate whatever was available at the hotel. Later I realized that they serve frozen food. Maybe that caused some digestion issues. So whatever I ate, I was not able to digest. The first gel that I took, energy gel, after 5 kilometers, that itself was not going in. I was kind of feeling like my body was pushing it out. I still ran. In fact, I reassessed. After 5 kilometers, I realized today doesn't seem like my day. So I had a target of 3:05. I reset it to let's do anything 3:10 or less. Just 1 minute PR is also fine. So I reassessed, and then accordingly I was running. I was fine. In fact, each time I took gel, body was saying, no, I don't want gel. But I was still pushing it. So I think because of that, I lost energy. Around 38 kilometers, that is when I started feeling the issue. I was kind of not seeing very well. Not completely blurred out, I was not there, I was not present. I could see things, but I was not present in that moment. So, like I was saying, and I was kind of wobbling, and I was kind of pulled towards the left, even if I wanna go straight. Then, but I was still pushing. So I froze towards then. I guess maybe lactic acid accumulated, and loss of energy, everything caused freezing, and I was helped to finish the line, cross the finish line, and then they took me on a wheelchair, laid me down on a stretcher. I took everything out of my system 4 to 5 times, so that's when I felt better. So they said the ECG was not normal, and they said, we'll take you to hospital. I said, fine, whatever you want to do. I was in my senses then. And after 20 minutes again, when they took ECG, it was normal. They took one more ECG, it was normal. But they administered IV and stuff like that. So I was there with them for almost 2 hours. Once they realized that, okay, this guy is good to go, they let me go.
No, that's really interesting. We also you also spoke about how much effort we put in just before the race. We build up and then we taper down all those things. But another interesting thing maybe for us to notice, it's always good that whatever the food we take, even before the race or maybe a couple of days before the race, is also as important as the kind of if you are into marathon. Say for example, you said you put in a lot of running. If someone into cycling, obviously they will do a lot of cycling. If someone is swimming, they will do that. But at the same time, I think it's also important for every athlete to be conscious on what they eat as well. I think that's one of the learnings for we athletes. If you just look back, what changes would you preferred? What changes would you have done, or what are the other ways that you could have done before?
So at least I would look at 2 things, because like I was saying, training was spotless. Everything went well as per the target. I did 2 mistakes. One was when when I started feeling there's shin pain, I did not take it very seriously. Maybe reducing the load would have helped. But small niggles you don't realize, as a runner, as an athlete, you always have niggles. But the human body is very complex. One day you'll be feeling some pain and the next day nothing will be there. So maybe being very mindful of those niggles and taking rest when needed. Like they say, if you don't take rest, your body will give you rest. So maybe being mindful and then reducing the load when your body needs it. That is one thing. Second thing that I learned is human body is very complex. So it's not only your muscular fitness, not only mental fitness, even your gut health is very important. It could be a very silly thing that can cause issues. So whatever hydration, the food that you eat, you train with it. So everything that you do few days before the race and then on the race day, what you eat, what you wear, how you run, what pace you. So you have to practice everything in the training. And I think the experienced runners say for a reason, don't try anything new on the race day. They say for a reason from their experience. I learned it hard way. Even last race, when I achieved my PR by 18 minutes, I did try new things on the race day. My energy gels were new than what I had trained, but it worked out well. So sometimes that cocky confidence can ruin. It's important that you stay grounded and be humble and do what you need to do consistently. Because I think you become athlete. You are qualified as athlete not when you achieve certain goals. You are qualified as athlete only when you are able to do same thing again and again repeatedly. That is when you can call yourself athlete. Of course, you can always try something, but you build up to it instead of just trying it on a race day. Yeah.
Days before also.
Yeah.
You spoke about mental strength, right? And also you spoke about there are days where we don't want to get trained, but still we need to turn up. Along with that, when we get injured, we are resting, but there is kind of an inside urge for an athlete. No, why am I staying like this? You get bored and you want to go and run or swim or do cycling. So how do we overcome this? So a couple of things we can take as an athlete when you are resting. How do you kind of overcome that and urge to go and still I want to do it? And how can you overcome? Because if you don't do that, and if you start doing that, as you said, you might, chances are that the injury might increase or it may aggregate. So let's talk about that. Second question would be the other way when you're running and there are that one. So if you can just explain.
See, when we talk about growth can happen multiple ways. Like the day when I don't want to go to work, you still have to go to work, right? So why do you go to work? Because you need salary. Right? When you talk about fitness, it's not just like I was saying. It's not just physical fitness. There is mental fitness. There is financial fitness that you want to achieve, and there is intellectual fitness. Right? So I look at fitness as these four things: physical, mental, financial and intellectual. So as long as you are growing in one of these areas, you can be happy. So if you are not working, then maybe you study, you are improving your knowledge. So if you are working out, good, yes, you are improving your fitness. But also there is this saying, your muscles don't grow when you work out, your muscles grow when you sleep. So if you can understand the physiology, understand how the growth happens, then most probably when you are recovering, that growth is already happening when you are recovering. Recovery is required for growth. Just like, in order to improve our fitness, first we detrain and then train again. So taking recovery, like if I'm taking a day off, then I'm basically taking a break from work, and then maybe I study or maybe I entertain myself to improve my mental fitness or maybe intellectual fitness. So along those lines, I can think, okay, if I'm not working out, either I can study, learn something new, or maybe I can distract myself and work on other things, continue to do work which will help your financial fitness. All right, so focus on one of these fitness. If you're sitting idle, you're not sitting idle actually. I don't think we ever sit idle unless you're sleeping. I don't think we ever sit idle. Either we are watching some program to improve our mental fitness, or read a book to improve our intellectual fitness, or maybe doing work which will help us our financial fitness. So as long as we are able to figure out, okay, what goal I am achieving by doing this right now, what am I getting out of whatever I am doing. So that's why purpose is important. So do you have a purpose for doing anything? Like, why do I run? So running is kind of meditation for me. So lot of decision making happens during running, because it is just me and myself. And yeah, so I can do a lot of work when I am running, and also it kind of makes me feel that I can achieve something physically, and also it also makes me feel that I can be disciplined. It actually, running gave a lot of discipline to my life. I was not an early riser, now I raise early. And I eat food well now. I was not eating food very well. So a lot of things got fixed because of running. So it gave balance. So as long as you know what is the purpose behind what you are doing, then I think will not be worried too much. So if I'm not running, if I'm taking rest, then it is helping me in recovering so that I can run better. Or maybe I can read about running, maybe read books about running. Or maybe I do my work so that I get financial freedom so that I can run. Alright, so figure out whatever you're doing, is it really aligned with your goals? As long as it is aligned, I don't think we should be worried much.
I agree with that. And also when we are taking rest, on the rest days, forced rest, I would say. On those days, probably we can also read about nutrition, right? What kind of nutrition should we have, or just read about the whole body, how it functions, all those things. That you have actually put it that right way. So if I am athlete, say for example, if I am into running, it's not just about running, and I'm getting out there and not about running. We also need to learn understand our body, know your gut system, and make it good, and also mental strength.
Yeah, and also we are recreational athletes. We are not professional athletes. We don't get paid for this. We pay money to participate in these events. So where do we get that money? So we have to do work as well. So when you're resting, you're doing one or the other thing which will support you. So it's a hobby for us. It's not really a profession for us. So as long as we understand it, I think we should be fine.
Nice. It's been good that you are sharing a lot of experiences, right? You are a CEO. You also spoke about financial independence thing, right? Fitness. Walk us through what should, say for example, you also put in a lot of into running, time into the running part. So how do you balance it out? Because there is this running and whatever for athlete, right? And there is also work, because we are not kind of elite where someone else sponsors us. We have to kind of balance, complicate that with the family also. So it's kind of, how do you, so the reason I'm asking is sometimes when I'm doing a lot of things, going to the gym sessions or strengthening training, swimming, cycling, or all those things, right? It's kind of, my kid who is very small, he kind of seeks us attention. But when I do it for maybe a week or 2 weeks, then I start to think, kind of it comes. Even though I want to ignore it, it's there always. So, am I spending little time? Am I not giving time to my kid? And there is also office work. So what you decide? So 3 things: family, work, and this, your passion towards whatever, either running or swimming. So how do we balance that?
Actually, don't believe in work-life balance. Rather, see, work is part of life. So that's what we call this. Intentionality is you lead a life with purpose. So, of course, sometimes what we have to do, what we desire to do, doesn't align all the time. So our desires and what we have to when they don't align. Recently when Mr. Narayan Murthy said work for 70 hours, there was a lot of hue and cry. But I don't know from what perspective or what context he said that 70 hours like you do work. But look at Japan, for example. After the World War II, they bounced back and they became third economy in the world. And that happened because they did a lot of work to build the nation. And when you say you work need not be just the work that we do at our workplace. How do we grow? Of course, India is there in the top 5 economies in the world, but that is overall GDP, not per capita. So how do we improve our per capita? So being healthy can actually reduce the load on healthcare system. And also being healthy can inspire our family also to be healthy. And being knowledgeable can give us some freedom, maybe self-reliance. And if we know that, okay, this is what we need to do. By learning, this is what we need to do to sustain. So maybe we will create habits that can help us with sustainable living. Like right now in Bangalore, there is water problem. So if we educate ourselves, most probably we'll be able to adopt ways and means by which we can have sustainable living. So those 70 hours, we can take that 70 hours as work. Maybe 40 hours you are working for your financial fitness. The rest 30 hours, maybe focus on the other fitness, because that will also help you grow as a nation, right? So if we grow as citizens, that will help. Like if we know how to upkeep our surroundings, then a lot of money that goes into upkeeping that will reduce, right, when we put in effort. So we can actually think of how we can contribute to nation building and spend those 30 hours towards that. So we can actually create a life where we are not just working for financial fitness, but also focus on other 3 fitness, and also teach that to your family. And do it with your family. It is not necessary that you have to go out and then do it. Like you do, right? You go for run. You take your wife and kid, and they will be cycling and you will be running. So it's like good family time. Plus you're also working out. So integrating work, life, and everything. And last week when I was running a CSPO class, I saw one of the participants. She was on treadmill. She was attending the class and she was on treadmill. So she was working out and then she was also attending. Not that she was distracted. She was there. She was attentive, but she was also working out. So finding ways and means to integrate all aspects of life. It doesn't feel like burden. Moment something feels like I have to do, then of course it becomes a burden. So if you can align everything such a way that you want to do it, there is a desire to do it. Sometimes yes, of course we don't get work that we desire to do, but at least if you can turn that into like this athletic mindset that I talk about, it's doing the same thing again and again, but improving with every iteration, setting new goals and achieving it. So if you don't like the work, maybe adapt athletic mindset such a way that you're doing something and you want to make it better, and see how you can make it better. I would say integrate work and life instead of trying to balance them, because the moment we separate work from life, then work remains work and it is something like we have to do, not we desire to do.
Understood. Yeah. So it's actually important for us to integrate work life and as well as family time, so that we should not feel like, okay, I did not spend time here, there. Yeah, nice, good. You actually brought out, you made a very good kind of a point. I think it's kind of a blessing or an advantage that athletes have. Yes, we are running. Every day we wake up, we kind of follow a very disciplined life. In other way, we are also kind of motivating or encouraging people around us. That's one part. But the other angle that you brought in is we are in a way kind of contributing to the nation building. The younger generation or even older people, the more they are fit, the more people will be productive and less burden on the healthcare system, right? I mean, that's actually a good way of looking at it, right? It's not just about me competing in the race and winning, but also the society and the nation as well. So thanks for that. I mean, that's a new perspective.
Now, I don't think we mind cycling to workplace now.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Earlier, maybe we wouldn't have been. But now, given that we got into this habit, cycling to workplace is easy for us. So when we do that, we are kind of getting into sustainable living. And maybe if everybody in the workplace gets inspired by that, then most probably, it helps in future. And also, right now we are at Leanpitch, and you see lot of things integrated into this, which is related to fitness. So if you come here, I don't think we need a gym here, because we have a lot of things available here to work out. So that's what I was saying. Everything has to align. So this is nature, this is business, right? This is nature, this is business. So we are kind of combining our passion with business. So that's what I mean by integration.
Yeah, true, nice. And I think we were also talking about the next time we come to Leanpitch as a team, we'll cycle all the way from Bangalore to here. If we might not have had this kind of a discussion maybe a couple of years back, right? Now we are kind of pushing boundaries as well. So yeah, thanks for that. I mean, that's what consistency, discipline can bring into it. So that's good. Now coming back to the mental strength, right? We go to the coaches also. I mean, they give you the training plan and all those things. But that's kind of domain expertise, I believe. That's it. So if I go to the running coach, yes, he gives you the running program saying, first day you do this, second day you do this, third day rest, all those things. If you go to the swimming, similarly. If you go to the cycling, same. But the mental strength, right? How do we kind of improve, or how do we make sure that our mental strength is pretty good? Because the reason I'm asking this is, yes, we follow that program and we put in a lot of efforts, and if something goes wrong, or if your mind doesn't, or if your body doesn't support, still you are pushing, right? Similarly, you said that in the race day, Delhi Marathon, you felt that, but still you kind of pushed, right? There are so many times we athletes come across that. So how do we address that mental strength? So what are the ways so that we can actually work on it?
Consistency is something that is very much important. So one thing that I have learned from experience is, if you let something drift, so you're doing something, let's say you're running, or you're going to gym, or maybe you're reading, so you have a habit. If you drift away from it for a day, and then you do it again on the second day, chances are that you will do it again on third day. So as much as possible, if you drift for a day, you have to ensure that you don't do it the second day. That kind of helps in building habits. So commitment and consistency is important. See, motivation, like we get in the beginning of the new year, that doesn't help. So commitment is important. Whatever you do, even if you do bare minimum, like 15 minutes of reading every day, or 15 minutes of workout every day, doing that consistently, at least 5 times a week, is very much essential. So you have to, if you want to build a mental strength, you have to build ability to get bored. Doing the same thing again and again consistently. So that is important. Also, one thing that I noticed, this mental strength actually developed a lot after lifting weights. In the gym, our coach Vishak, he had a character building session. Take for example, so hack squat. So we'd start with, let's say, 80 kg hack squat. You continue to do until you're able to. Then when you're like, oh no, I cannot do it anymore, you just take maybe 10 kgs out. You do it, maybe 1 or 2. Okay, not able to. then remove. So you go on until you do body weight. So you keep on removing weights until body weight, and even with body weight, you go on doing until you cannot do it anymore. So it's like I will give everything that is there in my body, and I'll give everything that is there in my mind. So sometimes doing those sessions helps as well. I'm not saying that's like a hack. It's testing your ability, and like, are you able to push yourself? And when you're not able to push, then maybe you build back. See, sometimes when it is very just a little bit of inconvenience, we give up. Maybe trying to do things until you cannot do anymore. It helps in building that mindset. So that means during the training, bad days are actually a blessing. Bad days are where you are learning your mental strength. Do whatever it is possible. So you are not able to lift heavy weight, you won't give up. But can you really maybe reduce few weights and then continue to do it? Okay, so someday you wake up and then feel like, I can't run today, but can you, instead of running 20 kilometers, can you run 2 kilometers? So instead of not doing anything, doing something, that will help in building mental fitness. So do something instead of nothing. You're not able to read the whole book, okay, read one chapter or maybe one paragraph. So do something.
Yeah, so that might not come all of a kind of sudden in one day, but it needs persistent practice, right? I mean, we have to go through it so that we have to let our mind know, okay, there can be instances where body might say this, but still we have to push and overcome that, right? I mean, that's good, but to what extent we might, because the reason I'm asking is I'm trying to connect back to the Delhi marathon incident that happened, right? Yes, you were not able to kind of walk and you not know, still you pushed, right? And when I got that call, so I was kind of, oh, what happened? Then suddenly I called the coordinator, and then I was kind of worried till the time I spoke to you, right? You said I am okay. What should be the boundary? I mean, till when we should push, right? I mean, body is giving up. Body is saying, oh no, it's not possible. But you have developed your mental strength saying, oh no, I can do it. But there is a kind of a threshold, I believe, right? I mean, because that's kind of, if we cross that, maybe, I don't know, better of flat word, maybe stupidity. So where do we put that line?
So I was going to say, I don't believe in accountability partners. But see, if you have some accountability partner for the sake of motivation, I don't believe in it, because you have to push. But having accountability partner for these kind of things, you can only push to a certain extent, and then someone can tell you, someone outside with an outside perspective, I think this is the limit, maybe you want to stop now. So like when I run, I have a coach, running coach. So I know if I am pushing beyond boundaries, coach will tell me. When do you push? You push when there is a safety net. So why did I push at Delhi Marathon? Because there was community. If something happens, there is someone to respond to immediately. But would I do it? If I am really not ready, would I do it in a training run when I feel that I'm going to be bonked? Most probably not. Like I was saying, instead of running 20 kilometers, I might run 10 kilometers. But there I pushed because there was a support system. So if you can have support system and you want to test your strength, like I was talking about that character building session, I wouldn't do it alone at home. Whereas there, someone is there who can observe you and say, okay, you are done now. So coach was there. So coach is the one who told me, okay, now we have to remove some plates. Oh, now you are done. I think this is good enough. So when you have somebody, and then you can push. But when you are pushing yourself, instead of the maximum limit, you cut down, but still push.
No, I can relate to that, what you just said, Satisha. So it has happened so many times when I go to especially the strength training part, right? Some days I'll be feeling very energetic, and I start to doing the squats especially, right? I mean, I keep on adding the plates myself, and coach will be just standing there and observing. All of a sudden he comes and says, JP sir, don't do it. Let's stop here. I said, why? I'm feeling good. I want to do it. Then he says, no. I think that's one of the reasons why we need coaches as well, right? Thanks for that. So you have run the Delhi Marathon after that incident. I know that you are kind of getting back to the program kind of that you have from your coach. I believe you are still participating in the London Marathon. I think that's where you
No, London I'm running for charity. I really want to, but I'm taking one day at a time right now, and see how it goes. And I'm not running that for performance. It's for fun and experience and for a cause. So I think finishing marathon is not a problem. So I'll not be able to hit any performance goals as such. But anyway, the goal there was not performance. Goal was there for a cause. So yes, most probably I'll go and run unless something untoward happens.
I think that's the athlete's mindset. Never give up. You be there. You participate. Be in the kind of community or right. Never to give up. I think that's one of the things that we develop as a human when we get into these things, right? Being athlete. So thanks for sharing your time, and we hope we will be able to talk kind of what happened in the London Marathon or any other marathons that you learn, because these are very very good learnings for others as well as other athletes. It's not that we have to go through that experience in order to learn. We can look at others. We can, look at what they are doing, what they did, and we can always improve our performance.
Right.
So thanks for being in this episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure. So this was Satisha's episode where we spoke about his experience in the Delhi Marathon that he finished a couple of weeks back. So in the next episode, we'll have other athlete or someone who will be sharing about the intentionality. So till then, see you guys. Bye-bye.